Okay, we should be recording, and welcome to our first Tiny Tech training. This is all about Libby, Overdrive, and Universal Class. I'm Bobby DeMontney. I am the Montana Library Network Technical Support. You guys can hear me okay, right? Good, okay. We'll start out with a little bit of an overview, and then we'll look at specific services and some niche things that may come up and where to get help and resources when you're working with Libby and the different devices that you can use it on. Overdrive is the name of the vendor that provides digital ebook and audiobook collections for the Montana State Agency Libraries site for state employees and for Montana Library to Go. And I'll add, it's not just state employees on that site, and I'll tell you a little bit more about that here in a second. But first, I have a poll for you. All right, great. It looks like 3 of you use it. That's great. A couple of you don't, and a couple of you may have in the past. So looks like it's all across the board. So Montana Library to Go is available through your library, and Montana State Agency Libraries is available to you with your Montana State Library card. I'm putting a link in the chat. And that is where you can go to apply for an MSL library card. The Montana State Library merged its professional development collection with the robust collection over at the DOT Library, and with their powers combined, they've created the Montana State Agency Libraries. These resources are available to state employees, they're available to library staff, employees, and trustees who have an MSL library card. All you have to do, it's a little application. You've got the link now. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like too. In case you don't want to do it right now, it's super tiny, does not require much. Click submit and they'll send it off to you wherever you may be. All right, and now I've got another poll for you. Okay, so everyone's had some experience with it. That's wonderful. I'm glad to see that. So Libby is the app owned by Overdrive. Overdrive used to have its own app, but it's sunsetting this month. The Overdrive app has already been removed from the Apple and Android app stores, and they're no longer supported as of this month. There's been a big push from Overdrive to encourage libraries to get their patrons onto Libby. So if any of you still have the Overdrive app, I really encourage you to download Libby in its place. If you have patrons who still have the Overdrive app, try and push that and get them onto Libby instead. Libby provides access to ebooks, audiobooks, and any of the extras that have been purchased by Montana Library to Go. Okay, so Overdrive, I just told you about the sunset, but I do have a resource center for you. It's got FAQs, a preparation checklist, and all sorts of staff training materials. And then for the end users, There are how-to videos and step-by-step instructions on Libby Help. They even have virtual training sessions hosted by Overdrive if people want to really get into it. And there are also different options for Kindle Fire devices. So if any of you have run into this before, Amazon hasn't accepted the submission of the Libby app to the Amazon App Store. The Overdrive app for now will remain available for Kindle Fire users. And if you want to use Libby on a Kindle Fire, they also have instructions to sideload Libby manually. And there are steps to that. Overdrive has published them. It's kind of, up to you guys whether or not you want to work with someone to try to add that on a device that's theirs. That's, up to each of you all to decide how you want to do that or if you want to do that. The link for the app, I just posted that in the chat, Nikki. I have a little video here to show what it looks like downloading the Libby app and how to get around in the Montana State Library Agency libraries. I'm going to preserve my voice a little bit and just play this. So,
let's get Libby on your device. Go to the App Store for your phone and search for Libby. When you find it, install and open Libby. You can add your library by searching for the library name, city, or zip code, and when it comes up, tap to open it. Now tap Sign in with my card. If given the option, select the library you're associated with. You will select MSL. Then enter your library card number. If you have more than one library on your Libby app, it helps to give your library card a name. Now for the fun part, we get to find something to borrow. Find something that speaks to you and then tap on the cover image to select it. You'll notice little earbuds under some of the covers. This means it's an audiobook. Everything else is an ebook. Tap to select the cover. Then tap Borrow. You also have options for the length of time to borrow. The default starts at 14 days. I'll select 21. Then tap Borrow again to confirm. When it loads, you will see an update with the due date listed. Then click Go to Shelf and open Audiobook. When you're in the book, you can jump forward or backward by 15 seconds. You can also set a sleep timer to play for a length of time and then shut off. You can set the playback speed to speed up or slow down the voice. Set bookmarks in different locations and revisit the bookmarks later to review.
All right. So once you get in there, it's just pretty self-explanatory to get around, but sometimes it's nice to illustrate some of those features if you haven't had that experience with them. All right, and another poll for you guys. So most of you use it, and those who don't definitely help patrons with it. And you probably know what it is. It's a group of Montana libraries that share funds to purchase Overdrive ebooks, audiobooks, and extras. There is information about the costs, enrollment, and funding on our MSL website. And you can access Montana Library to Go with a library card through your public library. Using the card from a public library is pretty similar to what we just did with the Montana State Agency Libraries service, but this time when you add your library, you would search for Montana Library to Go and select your library from the list of Montana Library to Go libraries. That list of choices is, of course, larger because there are so many of you, but it works pretty much the same way. The first time through, I showed you how to get an audiobook, but this time I'm going to show you some examples with a magazine and a couple of ebooks in Montana Library to Go. This time the video does go a little bit faster.
Now we'll look around in Montana Library to Go, and we'll also see some more of the features available in Libby. Click the menu on the upper left to pull up a variety of filters. We want an ebook that is available now. Then tap Show Titles. If you find one and want to see more, click Read Sample and you can see a few pages. You can also search manually. I searched pottery and found a cool magazine. This library card with a plus sign on it lets you see who among your libraries carries it. I am borrowing it and I'll get it for 14 days. This plus sign tells Libby to notify me of new issues. When I open it, I see a little table of contents. I can click this or just swipe through the pages to navigate. I can tap the A for accessibility features. Here I can change the lighting and text size. Tap again to get back to the table of contents. Now we'll look at some books. If a copy of a book is not available, you can place a hold on it. This shows how long you have to wait. Click Place Hold to confirm, and back on the shelf it will show you how many holds you have. Now I'm opening a book that I borrowed earlier. I tap the screen to bring up the features and tap the A for accessibility. This is a lot like the magazine, except there are some additional options. We can also search the book and place bookmarks.
So that got you through the accessibility features mostly and how to download and preview the different books that you might be interested in using the Libby app and Montana Library to Go. While Overdrive is the vendor and Montana Library to Go is the consortia of libraries that are pooling their resources in order to have access to all of these great features, Libby is the content delivery mechanism for the content that all of our member libraries are purchasing in Montana Library to Go. All right, I have one last poll for you. Oh, wow, you guys are all over the place on this one. Okay, I'm kind of glad. This will be really helpful to you. All right, so extras are an additional subscription service for Montana Library to Go users through Overdrive. These include method test prep, great courses, or universal class. Some libraries do choose to subscribe to additional extras on their own. Canopy is the main one that comes to mind, but I know there's some others people could subscribe to. If a library subscribes to an extra, their patrons will find the services in the extras section of Libby. And even though we are providing the method test prep, great courses, and universal class, any other extras that libraries choose to do on their own will show up in that same area. Montana Library to Go is providing access to these extras through 2023. And now I will show you a few things that will interest you about these Libby extras.
Now let's look at extras. Log into Montana Library to Go and scroll down to the Extras section. We'll start with Universal Class. Select the topic and the class you want, click Join this course, and select Certificate or Videos Only. Each class has a list of lessons that need to be done in order to unlock the next one. Here is an example of Lesson 1. Then you can use the menu to log off. Great Courses is fairly similar. There are many lectures, and you can use a guidebook to follow along. Last, I want to show you method learning. If you have someone in your life preparing for the ACT or the SAT, this is going to be a nice resource. The login is similar to the other two, and the course dashboard will give you a peek at a vast array of topics that are included in this tool.
So I kept that really basic. That's just how you log in and how you navigate around in there. I have a much more in-depth version of this all about universal class, and that's the really important one I want to call your attention to, because our CE program is accepting those universal class credits as part of the certification for your own library search. So that is something that I want you all to be very aware of because it'll help you out and your patrons. I have a knowledge base guide here that can help with all sorts of different questions about, about all of the Overdrive and Montana Library to Go features we went over and then some. But this is all about accessing Universal Class. And I am going to skip over
this video will show you how to
what we've
access
just looked at and just take you to, here we go.
If you haven't used it before, click Register and add in the required information. Verify your age, accept the terms and service, and then click Continue for access. There are a couple of ways to find what you're looking for. If you know, you can just type it in the field. I'm using the example of human resources because someone had asked about that recently. If you aren't quite sure what you're after, you can also browse the course catalog. You can see there are a lot of areas to choose from. I clicked into Business. Right at the top there are key terms to help you pinpoint the sort of course you want. I clicked on Human Resources and then found a Human Resources 101 class that should give anyone interested in this topic a solid foundation with course information and outcomes. This looks right. We will say this is what I'm looking for, so I'm scrolling back up to the top and joining the course. After joining a course, if you want to get back to it, you can click your profile area. Here you can see your classes and manage your account. Click Enter to start making your way through the course content. View Lesson opens it up, and then you can start learning. Back up at the top, clicking into the menu will open up additional navigation for the courses, such as surveys, outcomes, and a link out of the course back to manage your classes. Now I'm back on the main page and clicking on the profile. This time I'm going to my account options. From here I can look at my accessibility settings, privacy, certificates, passwords, or manage courses. This is where I can withdraw from a course or change the mode in which I take the course. In a few of the larger courses, there is an option to forego the certificate and just watch all of the videos. This kind of overview might be enough for some users. If that is more your speed, you can click the Change View Mode button to switch the mode with just videos. If you decide to withdraw from the course, it will confirm your decision and then you will be withdrawn. If you take a course and withdraw from it multiple times in a row, there will be a waiting period before you can enter the course again. I've been using this one as a demonstration, but people probably won't join and withdraw multiple times like this under normal circumstances. Once you have registered for Universal Class, it will appear on your shelf. It acts as though you've checked it out. It has a countdown showing how much time you have left before you have to check it out again.
All right, so hopefully that showed you a little bit more about how to get around in there. And we just have a little bit of time left, so I'd like to use that for any questions you guys might have. Oh, and Sora, that is the version for school libraries. It's just like the Libby app, but it's all student collections. I'll paste these links in the chat, and yeah, I'm open for questions if you've got them. This is every link to every video and resource I mentioned. It's all right here.
Bobby, I have a question, and it's not so much about using the Libby app, but about our library's fee. I had a board member who asked if we should be promoting it as, what's the formula for what we get, for what our library gets charged for? Is it the usage or is it just our size?
Oh, I'm so glad that Kara is in here. I am going to turn that question over to her.
Okay.
That's a good question. And I wish I had a straightforward answer, but so the short answer is in the last couple of years, we've just implemented a flat percentage fee for everyone. We don't want to punish people for using the service, but we also recognize that using the service equals value. So that's something that we are working on, and in part, we're waiting to see what happens with the legislature and our budget, and if that would have an impact on our ability to reduce costs to libraries. And once we know more about what that looks like, we're going to make decisions about what we recommend to members for the costs formula next year. But we're thinking maybe tying it more to relative budget or library size might make more sense than usage, because yeah, we certainly don't want to discourage people from promoting and using the services. So short answer is it's a flat percentage fee at this time.
Thank you. That makes me feel better. After she asked that question, I felt bad about promoting it, and so I'm glad to know that. Thank you.
We definitely don't want you to feel bad about promoting it. We want you to promote it.
Okay, and we have just hit 10:30, so it looks like there aren't any other questions. If you think of anything else, please contact me. You can always open up a help desk ticket if you need to, and or just email me directly. If I recognize most of the names here, I think you guys know how to open a ticket, but if you don't, you can reach out to me through email as well. And thank you all so much for joining me today to go over this feature that we offer. And yeah, have a great rest of your day.